You are all welcome again to our second week and the third lesson in our Power BI class. And my name remains Benga. And in case you've not subscribed to my channel, I'll sing it again. Please subscribe. And my channel is at Master Data with Dave on YouTube and other social media platforms. And today, what we are doing is just introduction to data analysis expression. And then the short form for that is DAX. Just introducing ourselves to DAX. And the aim of today's lesson, the objective is at the end of today's class, you understand what data analysis expression is, and then you'll be able to create simple DAX formulas or equations, that's the target. So if as at now you don't know anything that is you cannot relate with that, don't worry, relax. At the end of today's class, you should be able to write DAX expressions. Okay, before we go into DAX, I want to load my data. So I click on Get Data, and then I click Excel Workbook, and then I have sample data. I double click on it, or click Open, whichever one works for you. And then the different sheets I have in the workbook is previewed. And then I just click on financials, which is what I want. I can, preview and see how the data looks like. And then I can just click either load or transform. If I want to modify the data, I can transform it. Otherwise, I'm not bothered. I just click on load. And then the data has loaded. So if you click on the drop-down arrow, you can see all the fields in my table. Right. We're looking at data analysis expression. And in Power BI, you have, just like in Microsoft Excel, you are able to use formulas to, just bring out different form. Maybe you are looking for a solution to a question. Okay, let's preview the table. We can see the table here, and then we have different fields in the table. And then I'm looking at the projected profit. Now, what is the total? I cannot see the total here, but I can write a formula that will show me that particular total. So I would say data analysis expression, they are formulas used to perform calculations on your data. And it does not affect the original data that you have. It's just, using a formula to, solve a particular problem. And then you can use aggregations like sums, like averages, like counts, and many more. And of course, you can have more than one, more than one of these aggregations in one particular DAX formula. And the good thing about it is that you can use it to just manipulate your data. And then at the click of a mouse, you can get answers to different questions. For example, you want to look at the projected profits, you want to find the average, or you want to look at the profits or the units sold, you want to look for the average or the median, just anything. You can just write DAX formulas and then it will give you that particular answer. And then you can use the DAX, the measure you can add it to your visuals. So when you create a DAX formula, for example, when I click on the drop down arrow and I click on the three dots where I have more options on that particular table, I click on the three dots, I can see different options, you can see the select, you can see the edit query, you can see the rename, you can see the delete from model, you can hide it, you can mark it as a date table, you can collapse all, you can expand all. So if I click collapse all, it is collapsed. If I come again and I click expand all, no matter the number of tables you have, it will expand all of them. And then if you don't want that, you want to collapse all, you click on it, it collapses all of your table. Okay, so one of the options you have here is a new measure. So a measure is is that container that holds your DAX formula. Just like in Microsoft Excel, you create a table, you create a formula. That formula is like the measure we have in Power BI. So you just use it to hold the value of your DAX equation. And then you can now use that measure. That measure now, it looks like a column, but it's not a column. It's not a field. It's just, just one container holding the solution to that DAX equation. So for us to create a DAX equation, you click on the three dots and then you click on new measure. You click on new measure. I'm not sure if you can see that. I just make it bigger. If I escape and I do that again, I click on the three dots and I click on new measure. And then you can see it's writing one measure equals to, and then it's blinking. So that means you can decide to change the name of the measure. That means, for example, what I want to, the solution I'm looking for is total sales or total profits. So you can change it instead of just leaving it as measure. Because if you have measure and then you're creating another one, it will not be measure one or measure two, and you will not be able to relate with that. So you may just decide to, just say, okay, I want total sales, then equals to, just like Excel formula. So what do we want to do? Remember, we're talking about total sales. Now, if you go back to the table, let's look at it at the sales column or the sales field. Okay. So we can see the sale price, and then we see the sales. So this is the field we are looking at. And then we have so many entries there, but we want the total sum of this. It's not like Excel that I can just go to the lower part of it and then click auto sum. Okay, so let's go back to the report view, click on the three dots and the new measure, and then we click on total sales space equals to, then of course, total is sum. So once you start typing sum, you can see the different options. You can click on the sum, and then it is asking you for which field do you want to put. What I'm looking for is its total sum of the sales. The first, if you look at this, the list that you have here, the first one is the table, and then the next one is the field. So that means if I have more than one table, for example, if I have product table, after looking at the financials, if I keep scrolling, I'll see the next table and it is product, blah, 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 So just carefully look at the different fields that you have. Look at the different fields you have and then choose the one that you want to, total. For example, I am sure it is financials and then sales. So if I click on this and then I close the brackets, so I have total sales equal to sum of financials, which is the table name, and then the sales, which is the field or the column name. And the good thing is that I can just click on it and then it puts it in the formula, and then it puts, the brackets where it's supposed to be, and then everything as it should be. All you just need to do is click it and then you press enter. Oh, rename it. Okay, I've used this name before. Okay, what I'll do is to say total sale, and then I press enter. So if you look towards my right hand side of the screen, you can see I have total sale and I have total sales. Because I have done total sales before, that's why it's telling me I cannot have total sales again, because the name has to be unique. Now, how can I know that this my measure is good to go? Remember that to display the content of that particular measure, I can use a visual. And the easiest visual to use is a card. So if I click on a card visual, and then I click on total sales, just click on the checkbox before it. It's showing blank. Okay, let me click the one adjust. So let me delete the other one. Yes. Okay, so this is what I just created, and the total sale is equal to 237.45 million. Now you can customize this. You can click on the measure itself, and then you see the options, the measure tools. So do I want to make it in comma? Do I want the decimal place to be 2 or to be 3, depending on me? Automatically it is 2. Do I want to put, the currency in front of it? So let's say I want the currency in front of it, and I want United Kingdom pound, United Kingdom British pounds. So, and that is it. So if I don't want if I want it to be 0 decimal places, if I click enter, it changes it to just whole number. But if I want it to be 2 decimal places, I just leave it at 2 decimal places, and then that is it. And of course, remember that you can move it around. You can change the color, whatever you want. So just a recap, to create a measure, come to the table, the specific table that you want to work with, you want to create the table, the measure in, click on the three dots, click on new measure, and we said that a measure is just the container that houses your DAX expression. That's your DAX formula. And then you can start typing what name do you want to give to the measure, total sales, and then you space equals to, total sales is equals to, and then you start typing sum, click on the sum, and then which field, which particular column do you want to aggregate, do you want to sum up? So if I click on the sales, then I just close the column, close the equation, and then I press enter. Now, one good thing you should also note is that when you have created a measure, if you check the list of the fields that you have here, there are some that have a the summation sign in front of them. Those are fields that you can aggregate. Those are fields that have figures, numbers to them. There's another one that has like a calculator in front of it. Those are the measures. So if you look at the total sale, you can see that there's a calculator in front of it. It shows that you have calculated that. And it is easy for you to distinguish that, okay, this is the measure I have in my table or in my data. You can see another one in front of the date that shows that this is a date, a calendar symbol. So that's how you can easily distinguish what the column contains or what the fields contain. So you have the one with Sigma, which shows that you can aggregate it. It has figures, it has numbers inside of them. So you can find the sum, you can find the average and the likes. You have the one that has a calculator in front, which is a measure. And then you have the one that has calendar sign in front of it, and that is a date field. Right. So we want to create another measure, and the name of this measure will be total profits. We have total sales, and then we can create total profits. Now, just one quick correction. I have total sale, and I want to change it to total sales. Even though I have not, I don't want to go to the formula bar. I can just double click and then put S at the back of it. Once I press enter, if you look at the formula bar, automatically it has modified that. So instead of changing it here, you can also come here and change it to total selling price or whatever. Once you press enter, it will also affect it in the data. Right. So I want to create another measure. What do we do? Come here, click on the three dots, new measure, and then I want total profits. Space equals to, then the same thing, sum. And then I click on it, and then I'm looking for the profits. Just keep scrolling, and then I can find it, financials, and then profits. Then close the brackets and press enter. Total profit equals to sum, then click on financials, profit, and close the bracket. And the best means to visualize that is click on the card visual, and then I'll click on the total profits, and then we can see it. And if I want to format it, I want it to be yen as well. I think I want to go to China. So I click on yen, and then it's comma, it is 2 decimal places, and that is it. I want it to be yen. Yes, that's total profits. Now, what if I want to do average profits? Same thing, click on the 3 dots, new measure, and then I want average profits equals to average. Then I look for the profits, and then I close the bracket and I press enter. Then, as usual, click on the card visual and then click on average profits. You have to click inside it, or you just drag it and drop it in the card. That's the average profit. And remember that I can format it to comma, and then I want it to show the currency symbol, which is yen, and that's 2 decimal places. And that is my average profit. And remember, you can also format it. If you click on the format your visual icon, you can change the, let's say I want the colored value to be green or purple, or I want more colors and I want it to be green, a very dark green. Yeah, that's perfect. And then I want that's the call out value. I want the label to be purple. I want it bold, and I want the size to be increased. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, in as much as we can create a measure which holds one particular value, we can also create a calculated column. That means you can create a column based on some factors which will be in the formula. Okay, for example, I can come here under the financials. I just click on the 3 dots, and then I click on new column. And then if I say high or low equals to, then I'll say if, then I click on it. Then let's say, what is the field I want to test? I want to test financials and then profits. That's a field name. If this field is greater than 1,000, comma, I want it to say I, comma, what if it is false? I want it to say low. Then I close my brackets. Let's look at that again. High or low, that's the name of that field, name of that column, is equals to, if this particular field or the column is greater than 1,000, say it is high. Otherwise, say it is low. Then I press enter. Now, how do I visualize that? Remember that this is a column, not a measure. So if I just insert a table, and then let me resize my card. Then I have it that. So I have a table here, and then I click on the high or low. Where is it? If you are looking for it and you're not sure, you can just search high or low. Then you just click on it. So let's say I want to have more than one field. Let's say I have do I have a country field? Okay. I have the country, and then I have the high or low, and then I have the high or low. So at least it's if you check your table, if I may want to put my profit field as well. Let's say I want to put my profit field in between the country and the name. Now you can see that it is summing the profit. What if I don't want to sum it? Don't summarize. So you can see it high, low, high, and then like that, like that, like that. So once it is below 1,000, if the value in that field is below 1,000, it is low. As we can see here, it is low. But if it is more than 1,000, it is high. So after creating the measure, if you click on the table view, you can see the new column it just created to be by the end of of the table. And you can see it is high or low. You can scroll and then you can see. And remember, just like in Excel, if you click the drop down arrow, you can select either just high or just low, whatever works for you.